if you're watching this video, you may be thinking, should I sell the house at auction? I understand if you have a house full of items and you have to manage an estate or a property where there's a lot of things to sell, that can be a daunting experience. And it makes a lot of sense to sell all the items in the house in one day at an auction. The real estate, however, doesn't have to be sold in the same way or with an auction company. You can have an estate sale through an auction company. You can sell the real estate another way. So why do people sell at auction, and is it right for you? There's a couple of things to consider. Those three things basically come down to time, money, and convenience, and also risk. So let's talk about time. If you need to sell a property and you want to sell it quickly, or you want to know for sure when it's going to be sold, an auction does set a final date for the sale. However, in the process of gearing up for the auction, photographing, logging everything, attracting enough people to make sure that you have a good pool of buyers to choose from, that process usually is going to take 4, 5, 6 weeks before the auction takes place. And then you usually have to give buyers at least another 30 days to close. Where if you go with traditional real estate, you can start marketing the property right away. Buyers know that the property is available and they could actually make an offer when they see it. I've had many buyers that decided not to even pursue looking at an auction house because they were going to have to wait a month to even find out if the house was something that they could buy. And so they chose to go with a house that was actually available to bid on at that time. Money. How expensive is it going to be to sell the house at auction? So there's a commission to be paid whether you hire an auctioneer or a traditional realtor. It's very important to compare the fees. I've been very surprised to find that many auction houses charge a commission rate that's more than 60% higher than what we charge here at Home Experts. Every company can charge their own rate, but it's important to consider how much commission will be paid at the end of the sale. Sometimes they say, well, the buyer will pay the commission. First off, heads up, buyers, make sure you're aware of that. Make sure you're reading the material from the auction house. It's also good to consult a realtor, even in the process of looking at an auction house. Many times you can have your own realtor and there's no additional fees to you as a buyer. But be aware, if you're expected to pay a commission on top of the sales price, everyone, believe me, the buyer will consider that in what the final price they will bid for the property is. They're not going to just give away extra thousands of dollars to pay a commission without calculating that into the maximum price they will pay for the house. The maximum price they will pay is the maximum price they will pay, regardless of how much commission the seller has agreed to pay the professional involved with the sale. Convenience. When there's a house full of items that need to be sold, it's very understandable why someone would want to have help getting rid of all of those items. So again, the important thing to know is that the contents of the house can be sold by an auctioneer, or there's also a estate sales specialist that will come in and take care of selling all of the personal property. And that's really a separate step from selling the real estate. The real estate can be sold by an auctioneer or a realtor. But regardless of how you're selling the personal property or emptying the contents of the house, it's important to realize that you don't have to have the house empty to be able to start to show it. You can go ahead and have people come and tour the property, and you can work through the process of selling those items during the process of selling the house. There are times it is best to go ahead and remove certain amounts of personal property or make it easier for people to tour. I'm always happy to consult people on a case-by-case basis on what's best for their situation. But there's also that time period from when the buyers write the offer until the house closes. It's usually at least 30 days. That time can be used to remove property and sell items as well. Also remember, if you sell a house the traditional way, the closing date that you commit to, the date the property has to be empty, that is negotiable. You can always sell the property but say, we need 60 days to empty out the house. So you have options either way. So when is selling a house at auction a good idea? I'll give you 2 specific instances I can think of. Number 1, if you have a truly unique property, if a celebrity once owned your home, or if you have a property that looks like absolutely nothing else that's ever been built in the area, those are 2 really good times to consider selling at auction. So if Elvis Presley once ate a peanut butter and pickle sandwich and sang a concert in the backyard, or your house is built to look like a spaceship, that might be a good time to consider an auction. I really don't want to have to price a property like that. Then there's inspections. Are the buyers able to do inspections on the property and maybe back out or ask you to repair things? At an auction, the answer is no. Buyers buy the property as is. They're expected to close. There are no inspections. So buyers, also remember that. If you're considering buying an auction house, once the auction is done, you're expected to put down a non-refundable deposit. Oftentimes, it is a very large percentage of the purchase price, much more than traditional earnest money is when you're buying a home the traditional way. So if there is no inspection period, the buyers don't have an opportunity to review the condition of the property and back out. That's something for you to consider as a seller, and also something for buyers to be aware of as well. The homes can be sold as is by sellers in the traditional market as well, but a lot of the time the buyer still has an opportunity to do an inspection and make sure they're comfortable with the property before they sell. So buyers, keep that in mind. We always recommend that you do get a home inspection. So whether you're a seller considering what's the best way to sell the property, or you're a buyer and there's a home that's being sold at auction that interests you, I would be happy to visit with you. Here at Home Experts, we provide no obligation consultations. We're happy to give you the information and look at your situation individually and consult with you. If you decide to go another way, that's okay. But we're happy to give you the information up front. We work in the Kansas City area and the small towns and farms surrounding it. If you're in another area though, we'd be happy to find a home expert where you live. Feel free to contact us and we will find a home expert that fits your needs in your area. Thanks for watching. I'm Tabitha Elliott with Home Experts, brokered by eXp Realty.